Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Shintaro Higashi Show with Peter Yu. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about the safety in judo, what you can do, what should be done.
Yeah.
I know in lieu of the BJJ lawsuit where that guy broke his neck, it's a huge deal right now. He was awarded $43 million. And
Oh,
I think we all know a judo instructor that's been sued, right? At
yeah,
some point
yeah.
or another. It's common, very common. What can we do to protect ourselves, right?
That's right. So this is inside the dojo, and then maybe we'll talk a little bit about the competition wise too.
Yep.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Inside the
Cool.
dojo. First and foremost, my biggest thing is that like the IJF does a spectacular job with this stuff. When they
Yeah.
look at the statistics, they're very data driven, right? And they
Mm-hmm.
see, oh, too many people are spamming Korean Tenagis and the risk is
Mm-hmm.
very high and the likelihood of throw is very low. Ban it.
Right.
And I know a lot of people have like a very visceral reaction to this kind of a thing, right? And they like, oh, it's a martial arts,
Yeah.
it waters down the sport and whatnot and all this stuff. Yeah, I mean, it kind of does, but like the safety of kids and people who practice it, I think should be the first and foremost priority. Yes, we're
Right.
doing a martial art, but IJF is a sporting organization.
Yeah.
Their goal is not to spread judo as a martial art and then people protect themselves. They're
Right.
invested in the sport of judo, which requires spectatorship, IOC, relations, and all these different things.
Yeah.
So we can't make that argument of like, oh,
Mm-hmm. They're a different goal. I mean,
yeah,
it
yeah,
is a
yeah.
sport hit for
Yeah,
them,
we're talking about
you
the
know?
sport. If you're looking at the
Yeah.
martial side of stuff, you can do whatever you want. But there's no
Yeah.
regulation with that. If you want to do martial arts related judo for martial purposes, then do leg grabs, do Korean Sanagis in
Yeah.
your dojo. Who cares? You know what I mean?
Mm.
But that's also going to open you up to liability as well because the IJF, the governing organization, says, "Hey, this technique is dangerous. Get rid of it," and you're doing it in the room,
Mm-hmm.
right?
And
So there's a lot of things I think that should be done that IGF is doing, and I think the more local organizations should follow suit. For instance, like
yeah.
US Judo.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
You also have implemented some rules at your dojo too.
Yeah, yeah,
Like no Tani Otoshi, that's the famous one.
yeah.
Yeah.
No Tanya Toshi, and I tell the black belts like if it's between two black belts, if you guys
Yeah.
go for it, just make sure it's safe. You guys have to have a
Yeah.
real, true understanding of it.
Right.
Doing it, taking it, Nagakomi and such, like that's a prerequisite. You have
Mhm.
to understand the technique before you can even try it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
black belt, I don't really mind so much.
Right, right.
You know what I mean? If you're spamming it, of course, and if it looks dangerous, like you dude, you gotta stop that.
Uh,
You look horrible doing it, you're gonna break someone's leg.
yeah.
Right? But as a whole, the dojo, we're not allowed to do Tanitoshi on each other,
Right.
right? That's number one. And no drop techniques on people below green belt.
Oh, like no seoinage,
No
drop
drop
seoi.
senagi, none of that. And I'm pretty strict about enforcing it. And it does happen. And then sometimes I'll call them out. Hey, Matt, you can't do drop senagi on yellow belts. And then
Yeah.
first time's a warning, but then the second, third time, I'm going to be, he's going to hear about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's freaking dangerous. You know?
Right. So the first recommendation, your recommendation is to follow, like listen closely what the IJF is recommending.
Yeah.
And
But, they
then
don't ban techniques right, that often. Like
right.
recently, here's a good one. If your head touches the mat in any way, shape, or form, you
Mhm.
lose. You know this?
Oh, did they decide to be more strict about it?
Yeah, so if you go for a drop Senagi and
Uh,
your forehead touches the mat,
uh,
you're done.
how about in Uchimara?
Done.
Wait, so like,
If you're going
Ono
for a
kinda
throw,
does it?
done. Ono is not going to win the Olympics now. No, I can't.
Oh,
I shouldn't say
wow.
that. That was a
Yeah.
joke. That was a joke. I'm kidding. No, but if you're going for a throw and if your head touches the mat, you lose.
Right.
You
I
know?
mean, I get it. I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes when I force the technique that happens and it's not good for me either.
It's not
It's
good for you. The
quite
risk
dangerous,
goes high.
yeah.
Yes. It
Yeah.
depend. I think that's a good rule. I think people are going
Mhm.
to be pissed. It makes judo less exciting, definitely, but it makes it safer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Head and neck injuries are crazy. Like it's common in judo, man.
Yeah.
They have like statistics in Japan. They followed like in the school
Right.
system, not private dojos, in the school
School
systems,
system.
they had over
Yeah.
120 deaths from
Wow.
head and neck injuries from judo.
From judo. Ho
120 spanning, I think, a decade or 2 decades or something like this,
Oh my god. I
which is
mean,
a lot, man.
that one death is too much. Like
Yeah,
doing
dude, it's
judo in
like
school.
5, 6 deaths a year easily they were getting. Kids dying from getting thrown a sotogari or drop nage on their head.
Right.
The issue was, right, they wanted to put judo in all the schools, and not all physical education teachers have judo experience. So they're reading a
Mm-hmm.
book and they're like, all right, this is how you do a sotogari, this is how you do kemi. And then one kid blasts another kid, takes that one time.
That's a scary thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
even
get
taking the
yeah.
throws too. Like if someone goes for a drop nage and your head touches the ground to
Yeah.
base out and spin off, you're done.
Yeah.
I think it's a good rule because it protects the kids. It protects the
Yeah.
children.
So those IJF rarely bans
Yeah.
techniques outright, but they'll adjust the rules here and there like this, like to
Yeah.
make it safer.
Look at Kani
And-
Basami.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Illegal.
that's
Yeah.
there's a famous video if you guys haven't watched it in the Olympics, I think. Was it?
Yeah.
Yamashita.
Yeah, it's
was-
gruesome.
Yeah. And so then on top of that, do you recommend other people to implement additional rules like you do? Like,
Yeah, I think so.
Tanyotoshi, like what are the things?
So like rank-based stuff.
Yeah.
I think age-based stuff too. Like they do it in France. I don't know exactly what age they can do what, but
Yeah.
before a certain age, you can't do drop techniques.
Right.
Right. And these things are very, very, very important, I think. And even in jiu-jitsu now, who's very, very BJJ, is very, very quick
Yeah.
to say like, oh, you can't do this and that in judo. It's too
Yeah.
new. Even those guys are starting to do this stuff, right? You can't
Yeah.
jump guard. You can't do heel hooks for people below black belt. And they're little by little going in this direction.
I mean,
what I mean?
it's
You have to.
inevitable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The more people who do it, the more people who get injured, the likelihood of it being a litigious thing is going to be higher and higher, especially in the United States, where it's a very litigious country.
And in a way that judo and wrestling have gone through that whole process a lot
Yes.
earlier and longer than BJJ, and then it's just inevitable as it becomes more popular, right?
I mean, even look at freestyle wrestling versus collegiate style wrestling.
Yeah.
All right.
Collegiate's a lot safer, right?
A lot safer because certain rules, like if you were to like back to belly or belly to belly suplex someone,
Yeah.
the likelihood someone lands on their head and have a spinal injury is very high. You don't want
Mhm.
kids doing that to each other. Therefore, you can't
yeah.
really do that in high school wrestling. Like the point
Mhm.
system doesn't reward that. Right?
Yeah, no 5-point throws.
No, there's
Oh,
no
no.
5-point. I mean, you can throw them to their back and then back point
Yeah,
and stuff, right?
Yeah.
But it's a little bit different. Like if you pick them up, you have to control them down.
Yeah. But in
Right?
freestyle, you can just throw them, and you don't even have to follow the guy.
Yes.
You get 5 points.
Yeah, and then they changed the rules for collegiate wrestling for this purpose. For instance, like if the person's on bottom, right, in
Mhm.
freestyle, you could lock your hands around their waist, lift them up off the ground, and spike them on their head.
Right.
Right? You could do that in freestyle wrestling. In high school wrestling, if the other person's down, you can't lock your hands around their body.
Oh,
Right? You know
Yeah.
that clasping rule.
yeah.
You call free move. Remember that? You can't clasp your hands.
that's yeah.
Yeah.
When I went to my old high school wrestling
Yeah.
practice the other
Yeah.
day,
Yeah.
this kid complained because I did it, and then it's like, man, just wrestle.
Yeah. No, but you can't
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
But that's a safety
Yeah.
thing, right? Because
Yeah,
if you're
I get it. Yeah.
if you're getting up and then you lock them, then you could blast them back up
Yeah.
to their head. It's dangerous.
Right.
So even like our dojo too, here's another one that we do. Uranage.
Mm-hmm.
You can't bomb someone with uranage. If you can lift them, that's it. We don't
Mm.
finish uranage.
Mm-hmm.
Can you argue like, oh, then your finishing mechanics gets a little bit weaker? Yeah, but I'd rather that than someone break a freaking back, a spine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's always
So-
a trade-off. I mean, it's like
Always a trade off.
you kind of have to err on the side of longevity and safety for everyone than like some kind of achievements like, oh, we're gonna be the best uranage dojo ever. I mean,
Yes.
so you can be creative based on your student population and age groups and whatnot, right? Like you don't have to just follow your rules, like,
Yeah.
oh, no Tanyotoshi, whatever.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
white
just
belts
be
don't do Randori. That's a great rule, right? They should do it in
Mhm.
Randori. They should do a lot of drills, a lot of movements, a lot of understanding of the thing, break falls, drills, combinations, naikomi, even 3-person ichikomi, and learning patterns, like quick, explosive cluster patterns, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Adjust the hand, fake forward, snap down, kosodo tayo. That's a really cool.
You know-
There's a lot going on there. Benenang, right? You're able to do that quick. It's like
Let's go
dance.
into that a little bit. Like, I think that can be very controversial, like not letting beginners do randori or live rolling, especially in a sport like judo and BJJ, where
Yeah.
that is like the hallmark, right? Like that's what sets judo, wrestling, BJJ apart from other striking based ones, where you can go full throttle. So what do you say to the critics? Like they say, "Oh, you're not doing. There's no judo without randori."
No, yeah,
Like
yeah,
there's
we
just
do randori, yellow and above.
yeah,
You know what I mean? If you're coming into the club, right, and case by case basis, right, how they
yeah,
interact with them, what do they look like? How do they look like drilling the stuff? Were they
yeah.
able to take break falls or night coming? All those things play a factor, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't say like blanket, like, oh, if you're a white belt and
Mm-hmm.
you've never done judo, you're not doing randori. I'm not like that,
Yeah.
We let a BJJ purple belt do randori the other day,
Mm-hmm.
right? But the issue is this, we don't know what kind of habits they have. If they're only
Yeah.
doing collar drags and tanyatoshis in a dangerous way, and they get freaked out and then they jump guard, I don't know what school they come from a lot of the times. And
Right.
even if I ask, I don't know what the norm is there, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I go to Unity or whatever it is, okay, cool. But I don't know what the rules are of like that rank and rolling. I don't know what belt they are sometimes. I ask. You know what I mean? I don't know what kind of personality this person is.
Right.
So in
Right.
that way, it's just super dangerous. You don't
Mm-hmm.
know if they have a wrestling background, there's a freestyle wrestling background, whatever it is. They may have bad habits. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's really tough to like let everyone just do randori right away. You got to get to know each other first and make sure that that person's the
Right.
right fit. You know?
So in your gym, I mean, you've said this before. You're more like a boutique operation, like you're
Oh yeah, yeah,
more
yeah.
hands on. So you are able to get to know the person well and
Ah,
then make
yeah.
case by case judgment. But at a bigger gym or how like where you have to be more systematic, how can you do that? Like
I
what would
think
be
it's
a good
good
one?
to do like, for instance, I mean, a lot of judo schools. If you're listening to this and you have a judo school, chances
Yeah.
are you don't have a that's that like bigger than mine.
Yeah.
It's not like
Right.
there's no mega dojos yet in judo.
Yeah.
There are
Yeah.
mega dojos in jiu-jitsu now, and they're
Yeah.
popping up all over the place. And I think they should implement like certain rules, like white belts can't, and they have it now. White belts can't join the intermediate class, or like white
Right.
belts, blue belts can't do the comp class unless they're invited.
Mm,
And those things I think are good systems that protect people.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah. But, having a sensei that really knows, in a boutique shop, based
Mm,
on watching them and interacting with them, and having guys in the room who are familiar with wrestling, jiu-jitsu, and judo, who are great grapplers, right? And
yeah.
I could put out there sort of as a test case basis and say, hey, go with
Your
that guy.
enforcers.
I don't even call them enforcers. They're like spies.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's like a
Yeah,
reconnaissance.
reconnaissance dudes.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, hey, go with that guy. Don't bomb him, right?
Yeah, just fill them out,
Yeah.
kind of.
And I would
Yeah,
always say, but protect yourself. Protect yourself.
yeah.
Right. So majority, when I tell like George that, he goes out there, he's like, okay, I think he knows exactly what that means. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he
Yeah.
does. Which means go out there, dominate him in terms of hand position, feel out what techniques he does. So maybe throw him once, but then always be on the lookout for dangerous move. So
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
stand in the pocket with them, stay on the outside, wing grips, and then like counter certain techniques, and then
Mm,
protect them and protect yourself is sort of what I'm trying to say. And there's some
yeah.
guys that are very good at that in the dojo, and
Mhm.
I think you need a couple of those people to be able to keep the dojo safe.
Right.
You know,
How'd you grow your students, some of your students to be like that?
I think it's just like a matter
Raise
of
them. Yeah.
teaching proper judo, which comes from gripping and positioning. If you're
Yeah.
locked up 50-50 and people are ripping and roaring, you have a great athlete in there, it's just going to be all sorts of risk, right?
Mhm.
So you have to have like good fighting positional advantage, like all the ideas of like what's winning, what's losing, and then filtering people into your system, right? And
Mm.
restricting their opponent movement so they don't do anything crazy and dangerous, you know?
That's That's very interesting because it's not just about enforcing some rules. It's actually about learning good judo so that
Yeah.
force your game so
Yeah.
that your opponent, your partner can't do anything crazy.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
when I emphasize all the time, safety's this, safety's that, don't do drops on this,
Yeah.
people. Even when we do nagekomi, it's like, do not do high amplitude throws on beginners, white belts, right?
Mm.
I say this all the time.
Yeah.
You heard me say this, right? All right,
Yeah.
we'll grab a partner, we're doing nagekomi, grab the mask, bring him out. Do not do high amplitude throws on beginners. Hey,
Mm.
Johnny, what is a high amplitude throw? Oh, Uchimata Tayo. Good. The things that the guy gets whipped
Yeah.
onto the ground, don't do any of that stuff.
Yeah.
What is a low amplitude throw? OG,
So-
slow, soft,
Oh,
sort of guy where they're, and these
yeah.
assholes are like, oh, I didn't even throw him hard. It's like, shut the fuck up. Like, you don't know what hard, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'll bomb you on your
Yeah.
head and then tell you I didn't throw you that hard. Shut up. It's like that kid at the park that's like, oh, it's hard for you, but it's easy for me. Right? Like, I get so
Yeah.
angry at that nonsense.
Yeah.
It's nonsense. It's
Yeah.
garbage. Don't do that. I mean,
Yeah.
low amplitude throws, slow Ochi, sort of guy where they can control how they fall.
Yeah.
The guys who's
Yeah.
taking it, okay? And Ogoshi, that's an exception because you could decelerate the person and
Yeah.
slowly bring them down like a feather.
Yeah.
So only allowing those techniques on white belts,
Mm-hmm.
and then having, okay, Carlos has been doing judo for 4 months. He's a white belt, but he's a great athlete. He's proven himself that he can
Yeah.
handle this stuff. All right, Carlos, you can do some of these throws. Oh, you know what? You could throw Carlos, and everyone sort of knows. You know what I mean? It's a very, very safety-oriented messaging always that I have, right, in the room. So they start policing each other. Someone
Yeah.
went for
Yeah.
a Taitoshi the other day, and Clapper was like, don't do that. Right? That's dangerous, right?
Uh,
So now it becomes this thing. You know what I mean?
right.
Nick went for a drop Sunday the he's a yellow belt, and then somebody, like a purple belt was like, oh, you can't do that, dude. You can't, you shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah. I guess that's actually
Yeah.
how you systemize this, I guess. You can't police everyone. You're only
No.
one person.
No.
If you instill in everyone how to think about safety, then it's like community policing,
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
everyone, it's filtered through like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's managing expectations in the room when they're doing Randori,
Yeah.
right? It's like communicating to them like, hey, this is not a win or loss thing. You're not trying to win every round.
Yeah.
The goal is skill acquisition, trying new things, right? Like getting in the
Mhm.
pocket, filling in gaps of your knowledge. For instance, if I'm in Georgian B and I suck at it and I want to learn that, put yourself in
Yeah.
Georgian B, with somebody
Mhm.
that you trust that's not going to bomb you.
Yeah.
Learning that way. I'm trying to figure out Tomonage. I obviously can't do it on a yellow belt, so I'm going to go with a brown belt or a black belt, and I'm going to go
Mhm.
for it, and I'm going to let them know ahead of time, like, hey, I'm working on this thing. Hope you don't get too frustrated that I'm going to be dropping and flopping all
Yeah.
over the place, And
Mhm.
then people kind of know, right?
Yeah.
And you have to have Randori rounds where you're not trying to kill the person, and you're trying something new that you have no clue what it's about. You have to have spent the time doing your homework, drilling and learning and asking questions, watching videos, doing it in Nagokomi, doing it in three-person Uchikomi, and then you can start little by little introducing it to the higher belts. Right?
Yeah.
And at
Yeah.
first, it's going to suck. No,
Right.
You're just not going to get it, right? But little by little, the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. And I think that's the way to safely titrate it in.
And also, that also means that if you want repetitions, you better learn it in the safe way so you can do a lot more, though.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to learn Toshi and then start doing it in Randori. It's probably the worst thing you can do. I mean,
Yeah.
and then some of the things really going to get broken. So teaching them properly, teaching them how to fall, all the different, making them understand and say, hey, you cannot do this
Yeah.
until they can sort of prove to you in a cooperative setting that they can do it. And even
Mhm.
then, most of these instructors, it's hard to control all the stuff, right? Because somebody
Yeah.
moves or whatever it is. I'd rather outright ban something like Tanya Toshi
Mhm.
until, and what if you get caught in a competition? You might get caught in the competition. But the fundamentals of hand positioning and such, if you have a great pulse, great frame on the person's neck or whatever it is with your hand, it's going to make it
They
difficult.
shouldn't be able to do that. Yeah.
They shouldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, you can still, but they won't catch you with it, right? The likelihood of you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a lot lower. Of course, anything can happen on
Yeah.
the mat, but
Even with a strong elbow frame, like if they can't close this distance, then
Yeah,
they
how are
can't
you
get
gonna-
close
yeah.
enough to sit behind the knee. So, and you can shift
Yeah.
your body weight away and all the stuff, but it's just all sorts of dangerous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we have to do this. I know somebody when we were talking about how to grow US Judo, someone sent our podcast to Keith Bryant, who's the USA Judo CEO.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, someone that he listened. He was actually supposed to come to New York for the New York Open. I don't think I saw him
Oh.
there, or maybe I was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What did he say?
Well, I didn't see him there.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. But he did listen to it.
Oh, he did listen to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perhaps he was at the New York Open.
Good.
I was drinking beer, so I don't really. Maybe I was.
Should we try to invite him or something? Does he want to talk?
I'm sure he. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Well, maybe that'll happen.
But yeah,
that's
having
cool.
when I see these kid competitions, right?
Mhm.
And kids are going for drop soda and nage, It's only a matter of time until someone gets severely injured. It's only a matter of time. I think it's inevitable that like a
Yeah, then
12-year-old kid goes for an uranage and gives another kid a concussion. I had a concussion. I was like 16.
yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, I went for a turn throw, Merced Mate, and the guy like lifted me up and threw me right onto my head. I was concussed. Sucked. You know what I mean? And that's okay. It's a regular uranage. It was a little
Mm,
bit of a hairy thing because it was after mate, all
yeah.
that stuff. But like, that should never happen under age 13.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Drop soda,
Exactly.
right? It's like,
It's when then the kid getting thrown will smack their head into the mat,
yeah.
and
And
I've
I know a
seen
lot
that
of
so
people
much.
who are
Yeah.
listening now are like, hey, dude, I did judo through the system and I didn't get injured. Yes, survivorship bias.
Survivorship.
I
Yeah.
cannot emphasize this enough. It's survivor bias. Right?
Yeah.
How many people do you know that you did judo back then that ain't one of those that quit?
Oh yeah.
Maybe if they wouldn't have eaten it, they would have been standing alongside you right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they would have been
Exactly.
better than you. Who knows? You got
Yeah.
a competition of luck. So we gotta like really take into this account. And I think like having age restricted technique banned, I think is sort
Mm.
of the next frontier. I think it's necessary. I absolutely think it's necessary.
I thought they already have some, right? Like when they can't choke or
Yeah,
arm
choke and
bar.
armbar. Yeah, but that's been
Yeah.
around forever. It's been around
Right. Right.
forever. And
But then the throws, I guess you kind of see that with BJJ. Well, whatever the art emphasizes, for example, BJJ with the submissions, they don't tend to ban them for kids.
no,
Yeah, but so judo with emphasis on the throws, they didn't really ban them for kids.
yeah.
But it should be more. Yeah, it should be safer for kids.
I don't feel comfortable sending my judo kids to competition for that reason. Because I
Mhm.
know there's teachers out there who are like, hey, listen, man, they're going to put your hand on the collar. They're going to turn for a soda or hoshiguma. You just wrap your hands around their waist and dive backwards. And
Yeah.
I've known teachers who teach this way. And it's like,
Ooh,
yo, you know what I mean? And now that I'm a parent, even more so,
I
like
know.
if my
Yeah.
daughter like went in for something and some Russian kid spiked out the back of her head there, man, I don't know what I'd do, man. I'd be so pissed.
I've heard that, even in youth soccer, they ban heading.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because when I first heard that, so I have to look it up the details how it's going now, but it
Yeah.
was definitely proposed. And then when I heard it, I grew up playing soccer and I thought it's a survivorship. I was like, what? Heading is
Yeah.
such a big part of soccer. But then
Yeah.
after talking to you about all of this, it makes sense. Like I've gotten concussed mildly because I try to hit the ball and then I smack my head against another kid's head, or foot or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not necessary,
No, it's not necessary
It's like,
because can the
yeah,
kids still do better? Like, what would be better for judo if we never lost kids because these kids never got injured, right? And they
I
stay in
know,
the
yeah,
sport. It's gonna be better for the sport because we have more population doing it. Those kids are gonna end up getting better, and then they're gonna spread judo
yeah,
more. We have a bigger judo population by protecting the people at the bottom of the pyramid. You know what I mean? We have to protect those guys
exactly.
at all costs.
And then you
You
can
know?
slowly add these like dangerous techniques later when
Yeah,
they're
add
like,
them in, but let them learn the
yeah,
fundamentals first, man. There's no
yeah,
reason why these kids need to be doing drop soda and tiny toshi and uranage. They simply don't. Let them learn ochi or
yeah,
soto. Do it safely. Let them do. They don't even need to do hard randori competitions. They don't
mm,
need to. Japan has a problem now because they put
like
so
what?
much pressure on these
Oh,
kids for the elementary school championships. They
yeah,
outright banned it. They
the
bound it.
elementary school
Dude, you should have
competitions.
seen some of the freaks coming out of this thing, man. I went to Kushkan High School to train over
Right.
summer.
Yeah.
They had a kid that was on scholarship coming into 7th grade. Okay. 6th
Uh,
grade, elementary school stopped. 7th grade, he got middle school year 1. Okay. He had a
uh,
full scholarship. He was a national champion,
uh.
elementary national champion in the open division. This kid weighed 340 pounds.
What?
Yeah.
What?
He was like 5'9". This kid was bigger than me. Humongous.
How? Oh my God.
They put so much pressure on this kid for winning. He slaughtered everyone at the elementary school championships.
Yeah.
Elementary school championships, I'm telling you.
Oh my God.
Yeah, now he has a scholarship at Kushkan. He didn't end up doing too good. Like, eventually, like, I know he didn't
Right, right.
do that well, but like, I remember there was a kid that won Cadet World. He was
Uh,
14 years old. Dude. This kid was like 5'10",
yeah.
195 pounds to the bone. he looked like a grown man, dude. He was like 14 years old, dude. Unbelievable. The amount of like pressure that this kid went through and amount of training that this kid went through. And, kids would go up against him and they would just get injured. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, and
yeah,
also there's so much disparity in how
yeah.
fast kids grow at that
Yes.
age,
So now they're like, oh
Yeah.
my God, we have too much pressure on these kids. So many kids are getting injured. Nobody wants to do judo anymore. Everyone hates judo. We got to do
Yeah.
something. So I think they banned elementary school nationals from like 10 and under or something like this. And even I think they might have just straight up outright like got rid of it.
Right.
Because their whole thing now is like, we have to make judo fun again, right? For
Yeah,
these kids,
yeah.
not like put them through the regular like Olympics.
Yeah.
So even like some of the champs now, like Suzuki, who's
Uh-huh.
notoriously
Yeah.
like one of the toughest judo guys ever, he too is like, I'm gonna run a judo club that's fun for kids to do judo in a
Oh, okay.
fun way. Everything's gonna be fun. I'm gonna do Randori with the kids. Like,
Yeah.
it was an amazing thing coming from that guy because he's been
Right.
through the system.
He's a Kokushikan guy.
Yeah,
Oh no.
yeah.
Oh yeah. He's
Yeah, he's a Kushkan
It's
guy.
a tough one. Yeah.
So that's what we got to do, man. We got to make judo fun for kids. It can't be about competition. It can't be a win at all costs. Who gives a
Right.
shit if the other kid gets injured? That really is like a horrible mentality. Some of these coaches that kind of push that kind of thing on the kids, I
Yeah.
think they're losers. I really do. They have a
Yeah.
chip on their shoulder, like win at all costs. Like, I don't give a shit if the other kid gets injured. Those guys, man, like it makes me want to go to their dojo and kick the shit out of those. No, because they want to win. Not a lot of it is like
It's like it's
their
like
own
projection.
projection, living vicariously through their students.
Yeah.
Man, it's just like angers me so much. Like, why would you teach your kids that? Judo kids that?
Yeah.
You're putting all the other kids at risk. Why can't this be like I've been pushing for like, not like kata, like a technique demonstration competition.
Oh yeah, you told us about that.
I'm all about
Yeah.
that thing. We
Yeah.
did it once. We did one in my
Yeah.
region. It was a huge success. Every kid got super excited about it. There was
You
not
know,
one
Yumi won a
injury.
medal, right?
Yumi won first place, even though yeah, she.
A little bit of nepotism. I don't know.
I wasn't the judge on that, but
Oh,
everyone kind of knew who it was, and
But it was
Yeah.
everyone had a good time. Got a
yeah.
it-
She went to for Osoto, fell back and like threw herself, and then just lied there for a little bit. But yeah.
Who cares? I mean, she's having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if she would have gone out there with a kid, who would have bombed her, it wouldn't be
I
fun
know.
anymore. It was for me and Yumi. And that's
Yeah.
how I want it to be. And I think it should be for everybody,
Right.
And you guys are all talking and listening to this, talking about we need to grow judo, this and that, but then still have that mentality of like old school Japan in the 60s and 70s.
No.
It just doesn't
Yeah.
fit now in this climate. So we have to adjust, we have to evolve, we have to do it in a safe way, we have to ban techniques, and we have to make it fun, even for adults, right? Like I
Yeah.
told the other day with the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I go in, everyone's warm. Hey, how are you? What's your name? My name is this. And they introduce themselves. Like, lots of hugs, man. Lots of hugs.
Yeah.
It should be like that. When you leave the dojo, dude, you should leave feeling good,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
I totally
Yeah, I
agree.
mean, some people are like, oh, I can't believe that guy beat me, or but overall, it should be a good experience. You walk in, people are friendly. You get a great
Yeah.
workout in, you learn something, you're engaged for the whole time. You're not like hoping to pick up your phone and look at dumb reels or something. You're there engaged, right? You're
Mhm.
making friends, and then you train in a safe way. You should never feel
Mm.
unsafe. And then you go home feeling good about yourself and say, next practice I'm
Right.
gonna work on these things, and that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And we have to provide that by making some of these restrictions,
Uh,
and we gotta do it, man. Everyone who's listening, please push this, sort of
Yeah.
a thing. Safe judo, fun judo,
yeah. And it's not about these regulations or banning techniques. It's
Yeah.
more. It also has to be complemented by teaching everyone this safety oriented mentality, so that
Yeah.
everyone can kind of watch out for each other. That's very important too.
That's exactly
Should
right.
we talk
man.
about should we talk about the current event?
We'll be doing another
Right.
episode because this one's only
Okay,
30 minutes.
okay.
All
All right. We'll do it
Yeah.
on another
We'll
episode.
do another episode. And thank you guys for listening. Go to shintarohigashi.com. Please check everything out. Follow my
Yeah.
YouTube. Please share this safety thing. If
Yeah.
if you're a dojo owner, you should listen to this. I really think so.
Yeah,
So please send it, share it, all that stuff.
and support us on Patreon if you
Follow us
can,
on Patreon.
and stay tuned for the next episode.